it, boy. Yeah.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again for the rabbit hole, which yours truly, Blazeman, Mr. D and Mr. Donnie. Welcome, 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 everybody, to the show. This today is Thursday, July 7th, 2022 of the rabbit hole. And Mr. Donnie seems to be running around on the phone and something to that effect.
Hey.
So, what's going on with you,
Nothing, my
Mr.
brother.
D?
I'll be right there.
What's going on with you, Mr. D?
Good, man. How was your 4th of July, Blaze?
Yeah, dude. We're about to do that.
It wasn't so bad. It wasn't so bad, bro.
I just so I live out here in the county and stuff, man, and it's just a good feeling seeing people celebrate the 4th with fireworks and stuff like that. There is still some hope for this country, and I'm hoping that we could talk a little bit about hope and where this country needs to go. Like Donnie would always say, if you were president, what would you do, Mr. D? Well, I'm going to tell you, Donnie, what I'm going to do.
Oh, shit.
I'm just going to start off, and I know this sounds sounds like a cop out to you guys, but the elephant in the room is the gas pump, man. For any fucking thing that we need or do in life to charge cars as well, the electronic vehicle batteries. Um, we need to become more energy independent again. Um, the 70s with the Jimmy Carter era and what we have now with the Biden era is basically a mirror reflection of what would happen. And you would think us as Americans and as leaders and as politicians that we learn from our history. Case in point, during Jimmy Carter's presidency, the Afghanistan war was going on. it was the Russians there. Joe Biden's absolute horrified pullout of Afghanistan. Mirror image, mirror image of what the Russians failed, and so did we. That kind of that hurts to swallow to say we lost, but I say a soldier never loses. The politician determines if we win or lose. You got a little smirk on your face, Donnie. You could chime in at any time.
Oh, I agree with that point about a soldier never loses. It's politicians determine that, but no, there's the other part that we're looking at. We're feeding Ukraine. Who else were we feeding ammunitions in war and helping them fight war back in the 70s? Who else were we helping at that time? Israel.
Is it? Yes, because the Middle East was all jacked up too, and it was the Iranians, the mullahs down there, and shit. We had the Iran hostage situation,
and we also had Israel and Egypt going at it.
Yes, but Jimmy,
the Warm Kippur War.
Yeah, but Jimmy Carter was to bring. He was able to bring. Damn, I can't remember the presidencies of them guys. Menachem Begin and Anwar Sadat. That's it, right there. He brought them to the table, and that peace and that smoothed out. And look what we have now with the Iran, the nuclear deal. I just don't understand. You could chime in, Donnie. I mean,
what part don't you understand? That we're not learning from our history.
Correct.
I mean, those are just examples of how we're not learning from our history. And there's actually, there's people coming out. I put it up in the chat thing we were doing earlier. There's Reagan? No, not Reagan. Who was it? It might have been Carter's Treasury Secretary. They're coming out and they're telling Biden, look, if you want to get in control of prices and inflation, you got to do more to get rid of our debt. That's another area where we got to get independent. I mean, the euro and the dollar are almost equal now. That's bad for Europe and bad on a global level.
But that's good for us, though.
That's good for us in a way, but there's ways it's not good for us because that means what we're exporting is not bringing back what it needs to bring back.
Yes, sir. Just recent events, and sometimes I wish our system is set up the way the Brits are. Boris Johnson resigned today, and it wasn't so much the scandals he had behind him because he was pretty good on covering up his stuff. It was the economy, man. I mean, Britain's economy, I think ours is at 7.9 or 8.1. Britain's inflation rate right now is 10%. 10%. So they're doing worse than us, man. And they're a major world player, Great Britain.
Right.
But go ahead.
No, you want to link it back. You were talking about the same things were going on back in the 70s, 80s. Look at where Biden came out. The same administration did then. Hey, try to not go anywhere on Sundays. Don't hang lights. All these little suggestions and mandates to say, hey, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. The same thing occurred now during the pandemic. And that's where a lot of problems are now coming to float is what them dumbass mandates, mask mandates, and all that other crap during their so-called COVID-19 pandemic. We're still paying the prices for them, and that's part of what drove inflation.
How can anybody in that administration, the prior administration, or anything like that, once you start closing down businesses, how the hell do you not think that something like this is going to happen? I sit there and I read all the time that there's jobs. The Biden administration comes out, there's jobs. No, there's not jobs. These are jobs that are opening that people lost their jobs or quit their jobs during the freaking pandemic. That's why there's jobs. And now, if we're going towards a recession or people are having such a tough time, why ain't people filling these jobs, guys? Why not?
And that's the next point I wanted to get. I was waiting for a little break in the conversation, but I can remember in the 70s. I can remember the gas lines. I can remember the stores going out of business. I mean, Blaze, you remember Bradley, Zares? They were all going out of business then.
Right.
They couldn't handle it. But the big thing
Well,
I
just
remember.
just
Wait a
so
minute. Wait a minute.
wait a minute,
Wait a
just so
minute.
we're on point, okay? Just so we're on point, it was theirs late 70s and Bradley's was early 80s. I just want to be on point.
Oh, okay. Yes, and that's all well and good. But the biggest thing I noticed during the 70s when we were going through, everybody was going through a rough time. The government didn't hand out any free cash. I
No,
I I don't remember my parents getting a check, a stimulus check or
no,
any
but there
any
was
type
food
of
lines.
assistance.
There was food
Yeah,
lines.
yes, yeah, there was food lines, yes. But shit, now let's fast forward it to now and during the pandemic and before the pandemic, there was food lines. There was still food lines, but you know, we gave out too much free money, and that's us paying for it right now. A lot of people's like, "Oh, we'll just print more money." No, that dollar has value. It's up on the stage, man. It's getting rated by other countries. Other countries are fighting, to become the international symbol of currency. And fucking China's making their move. I believe it's Saudi. Saudi's accepting payments from China in yen. That,
Really?
that yes, that's a scary move, man.
They're
That
not the
is a
only ones.
Whoa. Wait, what do you mean Saudi is accepting money in yen
Saudi selling China oil.
and accepting the cash in yen?
Yep, before it was dollar.
Yeah, but guys, I don't get. They're gonna. Yeah, they may be giving them money in yen, but it's got to be equivalent to the fucking dollar. There's no way that Saudi is going to take less money. There's no
No,
way. I mean, we gotta look into that because there's no way,
no.
no fucking
Well,
way.
well,
Please,
you
you're missing the point on that. You're missing the point. I think you're missing the point. The fact that businesses and corporations and other nations are doing business with China in yen means they don't trust the dollar. They trust the yen more than the US dollar. So
and
now the US
Okay,
dollar is no
that's a
longer the
big
global
fucking
standard.
problem. That's a
What?
big problem. That's a big
Exactly. That's what we
problem.
just said.
and this is the way the Saudis look at it. So the Saudis are bouncing, the dollar versus the yen, and what supports your dollar or yen is what your country's economy does, man. You are not going to have a shitty economy in a high value of monetary anything, Deutsche Mark, correction, euros, yens, all that, and the country itself represents that currency that's out there, man.
Yes. It's That's a bad thing, Blaze. That means that they trust it more than our dollar. And as economies grow and grow, the US dollar just keeps slipping. It means our purchasing power is not as strong as, say, the yen. Once again, it's not so much about how much money you have, it's how much purchasing power you have. As a government, as a person, as anything determines, whether you get successful or not. So imagine that we don't have purchasing power with our dollar. That's what's scary.
And with your uncle Trump, what he was so frustrated with the Chinese is that they would overinflate the yen, make it more value than what it actually was, and the Chinese are known for that, man. They are known for that. But no, getting back to where we need to get this economy right, and it starts with energy. It just starts. And I understand Mr. Biden has pressures from not the conservative, but the left, the far left environmental folks. but we can't make this transition at $6 a gallon at this rate for 10, 15, 20 years. You're going to annihilate the middle class. You're going to have two classes in the United States. You're going to have the the high class and the low class. That's it. No in between, man. And that's what makes this country so great for people to strive. Case in point, our neighbor from the south, they have only two economic classes. And Donnie, you know this, and you've seen it with your eyes. They have the poor class and the rich class. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. There's nothing in
No,
between.
yes, yes.
That's why you have the problems you have down there. That's why you have the corruption that you have.
Blaze, I can't believe you went to go research this subject. Me and Donnie just made a statement on FFN radio, going down the rabbit hole. We are your Google.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to see what this economist had to, because you said it wasn't happening. You didn't explain to our viewers why it's happening. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but this, I don't understand how you're jumping off this that quick. This is big. This is big. They're looking to ditch the dollar in a new oil deal.
Yep.
And where Beijing could be targeted next as it spreads the yen adoption. Guys, what the fuck the Saudi got up their ass up against the United States all of a sudden?
You want me to tell you?
Yeah,
want me to tell you?
What we got a show for?
Oh, okay. It's called the murder of that Khashoggi guy, who was an American citizen, but he was a Saudi bloodline, and he got murdered. And it's all known that the prince ordered the hit. Trump kept it quiet, but Joe Biden, with his dumb ass,
ran his mouth.
Yep, and he even made the comment to this, and I had to look this word up, is that Saudi Arabia is just going to be another pariah state. Pariah, what does that mean? Wasted. Nobody has interest in it, and that's usually done with influence, man. So how would you feel as the king of Saudi Arabia and the United?
This is exactly what China wants. It's exactly what China wants. Again, I apologize, D, and your point that you're making for Saudi. Fuck it. Then that's it. You want to know what I would do if I was president, Donnie? Right now, I would give Saudi Arabia a call and say, we're no longer protecting your fucking ass. You know what? And then bang our heads up against the wall and why we fucking captured Saddam Hussein. Because if he was around, that would be like, look, you want to fucking fuck around? Well, I'll just let Saddam fucking unleash him. You know what I mean?
I can.
Up. Come on, bro.
Dude, Blaze, you're thinking about saying F you to Saudi is not that simple, because you have to figure out how to replace them billions in dollars that come into our country between the services military services that they pay for, the military equipment they buy from us on that, resale stuff.
Right. I get all of that.
Contracts we have with Saudi Arabia and how much they're buying from us.
That?
What?
Before they fucking yen.
Okay, so you want Saudi Arabia to go ahead and buy their billions of dollars a year in military equipment from someone else so that they can get richer and they can get stronger, and we're not going to help our economy. What?
All right, I'm gonna let you finish, Donnie, and then I'm gonna jump in. Okay, go ahead.
No,
Donnie, that's not what I'm saying, bro. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying right now, okay, Saudi is allowing China to pay them in yen, okay, for oil. What makes it, Saudi's decision to say, okay, we'll buy equipment and try to fucking dollar. And then now China's money is more valuable than the U.S. dollar.
That's
I mean, I
exactly
may
the
be
point.
doing backflips over here, guys, but this is kind of fucked up.
We've already talked about this, Blaze. We said this. This is a problem. This is a problem they don't address because the Biden administration, let alone what happened in the Trump administration, you realize this, our judicial branch, or I mean our legislative branch, they haven't passed a budget on time since 1996. That's because the last 2 decades have been nothing but quick reaction, here we go type decisions. And that's how we're making law. And then you make all these decisions, you make mandates that just directly hurt our economy. To link what Biden's administration has done to what was in the 70s, OPEC did the same thing on the U.S. when it came to oil sanctions. They did the same thing to us. That was part of the reason the whole crisis happened too. Well, look what we did. We put sanctions on Russia, and all these countries thought it was great to put all these sanctions. Now look at their economies. Our economies are crap. We're dying. Inflation's high. Prices are going way up because why? We just went and said, hey, Russia, you can't sell them 7 million barrels of oil a day where we can see it. You make sure you sell it on the black market and you'll get that money back later. Because that's basically what happened. And the only reason that oil prices are dropping now is because that flow that we were supposed to be sanctioning and not letting go is now making its way back into the market. So the price of barrel oil goes down. That's all that happened there. So once again, we just repeated the same thing.
This is just politics. This is just politics in all its fucked up glory. And, right. And a lot of this is based on what was it, the ex-president of Russia. I believe that's who it was. Constantly coming out. I'm sorry. The under. I don't know how it goes. Is he the vice president? Putin? What's his actual title? It's not vice president, is it?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know either. But this guy keeps coming out, and that's all he does is talk about nuclear war. So are we bending over backwards to appease China? I mean, to appease Russia because of this? Because all of this looks bad. It all looks bad.
I wouldn't say it's to appease. They're just using. They're playing spades, and they're screaming that they got a little joker, but all they got is a jack of spades. You know what I mean? And getting back to Saudi Arabia, there's a saying: you keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I wouldn't say Saudi Arabia is our enemy. Saying. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm an old guy. But getting back.
No. I didn't mean. I'm just saying. It's just, that's old. Don't you think that's a swift kick in the fucking teeth by Saudi Arabia to do that?
No, that's
they won't budge for us. They won't budge for us and pump out more barrels.
Why? Because Joe Biden
I don't know.
He was going to call him a pariah state. He called him a pariah state, a worthless fucking country.
Oh my God! I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yes, man.
We're explaining this.
And what kills me is that the prince. He probably did order the hit on the Khashoggi guy.
Well, he did.
Yeah. But there's a lot of shit that's happened in this world, man. That fucking people just like, hey, we got to live with it. Let's just turn and go. And I'm sorry, man. Yeah, granted, the guy died and stuff, but there's other ways to handle this, man. You don't make a political statement about Saudi Arabia to the American people when you're on the trail or when you're giving out a speech and shit. You keep that shit under the cuff, man. That's basic 101 fucking dealing with people, man. And this president, man, he's so fucking arrogant, man. To see the damage he did with his words, if you can understand him half of the time. What would I've done? I'd have went to go visit the king, fucking shook hands, fucking smiled and kissed and talked to him. Hey, I'm like, hey, bro, that's wrong what you did. You need to chill. no cameras, no TMZ, no paparazzi. Get on. Go in with a good attitude, and you'll come out with more oil. Basically, man. Who the fuck are we to say? I don't know, man. I don't
Demas, no,
You do
I
know,
don't
but
want
you
to
do
get
know,
the
but it's hard
I
to
don't want to get
explain, you know?
no, it's not, Blaze. I just don't want to get my blood pressure up because I can get a high school kid, man, fucking educate him on world events, and he'll do a lot better job than what Mr. Biden's doing.
I agree. Touche. That's fucking
I don't.
hilarious.
I
Guys,
don't know about that. I really
guys,
don't know about that.
guys.
But I will chime in. Look, that's not just Biden being that arrogant. That's a lot of key leadership in the Democratic side of the House and the Senate and everything. They're just that damn bright and bold. They're going to say what they're going to say. And it's almost like, what are you going to do about it? Because they think we control the House. We got this control. We'll do whatever we want to do. And look what's happening to them. It ain't happening the way they thought it was going to happen.
No, no.
So now they're backpedaling and it's all just big bumbles. And you're right. Everyone talked about Trump's big mouth. I've said it millions of times. I thought he had a big mouth. But
guys, this story is like 3 months old.
No, but Joe Biden has done more damage with his mouth than Trump ever did.
Yes.
He's done more on a global level than Trump ever did. Because at least the other idiots and the other key leaders around the world, like, whatever, he's just flamboyant talking out his ass. You know what? They look at Joe Biden, they're like, whoa, damn, man.
Trump would say it. That's what I call him putting his foot in his mouth. And his advisor would be like, dude, we can never do that. And then you got Biden, where his people have probably said that to him. And he said, no, you can never say that. But because he's so brain dead, he forgets about it when he gets up to the podium and fucking says it again.
And no, sometimes it's written into the speech. Just listen to the other Democrats, Pelosi, and the way they talk sometimes. The other at governor level type stuff. The one lady out of California that couldn't stand Trump, she's still talking trash about him.
Maxine.
Yeah, Maxine. I mean,
oh yeah,
look
Maxine's
how wild and brazen she was when she was talking about be out there, get a confrontational, get in their face, make sure they understand we're gonna vote, blah blah blah. How come she wasn't written up for trying to incite violence? Because you're trying to say Trump said those words and you're doing the same thing. I'm just saying.
The hypocrisy.
But it's the hypocrisy of it all. But that's our political, those are our politics. And that's the way it's been for the last 2 decades. And now we're over here wondering why we're in the mess we're in. Well, yeah, that's a lot to do with and the rest of the world's just like, U.S., you can go do what you do. We can do without you.
I think it's a good time for a little break right now so I can catch my heart. And my heart's been sensitive a little bit lately, and I just got to take it easy.
Stop whining.
Not bad, Donnie. Not bad.
All right, well, what are we going to do when we come back? You going to talk about what else you're going to do?
Yeah, man.
No, blow that up too?
We're not at a break yet. We're not at a break yet.
What's next, number 2, Demas?
So you think this is dead right now? Do you think we've said enough that's had to be said about this piece right here?
No, because
I mean, what else do you want to know, Blaze?
No,
what
because
else are you trying to ask for?
Well, number one, guys, I'm sorry I didn't pay attention to it, but the story is 3 months old. Where was it 3 months ago?
Right here, talked about.
It was here in the brain, discussed.
I'm pretty sure that Donnie tried to talk about it a few times, and we just fucking blew it off.
No.
Yeah, but whatever. Let's go.
Who the fuck brought it up today? It wasn't Mr. Donaldo. It was Mr. D.
Demas. Okay, Mr. Demas, what is next? Come on,
What is next?
Let's go. What is next?
Why are you tripping on me, bro?
I'm not tripping on you, man. I'm just waiting for
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. And we'll see what happens. This is stuff that didn't cross my desk at all. And that doesn't mean from the guys. I'm saying I don't think it crossed anybody's desk for a while because the story's 3 months old. Okay, the story's 3 months old. Okay, and I think it needs to be spoke about a little bit. I think we'll get to it on and off tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So stick around for more of the rabbit hole, and we'll be right back, everybody. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rabbit Hole. This is on a wonderful Thursday night here in Massachusetts, Fall River, Massachusetts, where FFN Network and Blazeman Media is located at. And gents, how's the weather out there, real quick? Good, doing good. Hot? What? Muggy?
95 and humid, possible rain showers within the next 20 minutes.
Donnie?
Hot, muggy. Yeah.
Possible rain showers in 20 minutes.
No, ain't no rain. It's just gonna be hot and muggy.
Ain't no rain. All right. So I don't know. For me, it was kind of a little bit all over the place. We were talking about economics. We were talking about oil. We were talking about quite a few other things. And we don't have to stay with it, but I'm still blown away with the fact of of all of that shit.
Think of it like this. No, but think of it like this. The fact that they're going to do business in the end. Think of it like this. Imagine Saudi is the bank. They're going to give out one loan. There's the U.S. and there's China. They have more faith that China is going to pay them back than they have in the U.S. to pay them back. That's scary number one. Scary number one right there. Scary number two. If you're looking at a global level and you're looking at the different currencies on that global level, if you can start taking over and having more of your currency on that global market, you have more influence. They have more influence on a global level. Who's to say China could just be like, you know what? You're going to do this or we're going to cut off your supplies, or you know what I mean?
Right.
You can get into that kind of economic domination. That is super scary.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant earlier when I'm like, fucking number one, the story's 3 months old, and two, this is scary shit. This is fucked up shit.
And that's why the American voting public needs to understand we need a strong president during this time. And you've heard Biden talk about it, the new world order. Yeah, they're going to set countries up in precedents. Who's first, who's second, who's third. That's how it goes. And we've been number one for a while.
For a long time.
We're slipping away.
Yeah, thank you, Donnie. Thank you. Yep. And you
know what holds us there, right? You know what holds us there, right?
No.
What?
Anybody?
Nuclear.
Our military.
Okay. But as other nations get stronger, they have more influence globally. Guess what? They get more supplies. They get better supplies. They have more influence. They're buying in bigger bulk. Guess what? They get better supplies. That's simple economics, business. That's the way it goes. Right. They have more influence. And then all of a sudden, their military is better than ours.
So this is the next topic that we're going to hit real quick. If you was president, how would you fix the economy? And we're going to give this one to Donnie.
Oh, I'm going to start looking at how to pay our debt. What is it, Carter's Treasury Secretary, or was it Reagan's? I posted it up in the daggum feed. I'll look for it right now. You got a Treasury Secretary from the 70s and 80s telling Biden now, the way you want to get out of this recession and this inflation and all this, you got to bring down your debt. Plain and simple. So that's what I would focus on. So, like you can go do you go to businesses. They do the Roundup Foundation for like children's networks and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you round up and you give them your change. They make a lot of money that way. That's a very smart marketing thing. You can, because everybody likes it easy. Like if I can pull up to a Taco Bell and I pay, $12, here's $12 cash. There's no change coming back, them 2 or 3 pennies. So many people give up them 2 or 3 pennies, and you do that on that national level, you can raise a lot of money. And that would just be our way to help pay down our debt. I'd ask people to volunteer for that. I say, hey, let me have your change, man. You got to focus on it. I'd go to change tax laws little by little, get rid of the loopholes, make it very simple tax code. Maybe you can lower taxes as you fade out. You don't get a return anymore. There's no more tax return. Because why is it that a single person making $75,000 is taxed more than a married couple making the same money with 2 kids? It's the same $75,000.
Because it's the same. It's the family size.
Yeah.
But still, it's the same $75,000. You want equality, everybody equal. Hey, there you go.
Yeah,
How much money can you save at that point?
What I think they're looking at there, Donnie, why they come up with that, it's just as to assist young couples in raising children. Do people have babies just for tax deductions? Yes. Yes. For
But
food stamps? Yes. Yes.
nah, but I'm not.
But
Yes.
D, that was before. That was before when the girl can pop out as many children as she want. Now they've put a stop to that for over 10 years now. After you have after you have like your third child or something to that effect, you don't get nothing for that third child.
Whatever.
No.
That's irrelevant. I'm just saying.
The
fact is, you got to simplify the tax code. Simplify it, because right now there's so many loopholes. You can get away with so much, but then you got to pay. It's just crazy. It makes it almost, unless you're a lawyer and read that kind of jargon, that's the only way you can understand it.
And that's where I wanted to interject. The tax law is so confusing and a lot of loopholes that you have to have that degree in finance to figure out the loopholes and all this other shit. And that's why companies do good. And look at Mr. Trump. He even made it clear on the campaign trail. He didn't claim he was a wizard or anything. He says, I understood the tax code. And if they would have changed the tax code the next day, he would figure it out. But the point I want to make, Donnie, you're talking about the tax and all that. I'm totally against us taxing the gigantic employers. We have to get. We have to give them some break, because Donnie and Blaze and the listeners of Down the Rabbit Hole, they're the ones that took the chance. You know what I mean? They put their house on lien, took equity loans and all that stuff. They're the ones that had the sleepless nights. So
right, but I'm not.
Why are we going to dog them out? They're the ones putting.
No.
They're doing more for us than the government is, Donnie.
I know that. That's why they would get favor in the tax code. But the same thing with the businesses, though. If just because you want to put your headquarters in Dublin, I don't give a damn. You're gonna pay taxes on the property you have in the United States. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're gonna pay for that kind of stuff. No different than any other business would. I'm not trying to change the code, and I'm gonna try to be in favor, because that's how economy strives, is when business strives. I get that.
But the extreme left is targeting them. And when I say extreme left, I'm not saying Democrats. There's another party here, the squad and all that shit, that wants to give out free candy to everybody. All you got to do is breathe. That's not the American way, man.
But that doesn't fix shit. That doesn't fix shit.
Hey,
no, it doesn't, Demas. But what I'm saying is, you got to make it enticing for people to start a business so you can strive. I mean, you got to cut some places, though, just no different than you're cutting off people. It's cut and dry. This is what you pay for. I mean, and when every other country, if you want to do the import-export deal, that's fine. But it's the same. You charge me $1, I'm charging you $1. What, you know what I mean?
And what the question?
Some of those.
No, the question on the second topic is, what would you do if you were president?
That's where it starts. I'm telling you.
Yes.
Just Trump started doing that, and then the second year, we actually had a net as compared to what we made and what we paid as a nation. We actually were positive for the first time since like the Reagan presidency or some crap like that.
I got to throw a hand up to Joe Biden and Donald Trump. The economy in the world shut down, and it was from the assistance of Dr. Fauci's propaganda on this virus that was out there. There's plenty of results saying that the shutdown didn't help nothing. It didn't affect nothing. It basically made it worse because we weren't able to get herd immunity because we're all sheltered in. So that was tough times. But given out always this, uh, President Biden's making his rounds now, talking about another package, a fucking $1 trillion package to save 401ks and retirements for the people that lost so money. Again, I took a big hit. I'm not looking for nothing. I'm not. He's always trying to entice the public. Here's some free money. Here's some free money. It's going to screw us at the end, but I'll be long gone.
Yeah, and we've been that kind of political what do I say, political atmosphere. It's been like that since about the mid 90s, Demas. It's been like that.
Oh, okay. So the 90s.
Like I say, we make reactive decisions and we do reactive things like spending 40 billion to Ukraine when we can't even house our own inside. That's where I'm at with. We are funding so much, but we're killing ourselves. No, so we have to come back to be independent.
No, Donnie, and if you were a congressman, you would be just like Rand Paul, the Kentucky congressman, senator out of Kentucky. Financial, that's all he talks about. He don't talk about abortion rights, gun rights, or anything. He talks about financials, and nobody ever wants to listen to him, man. But he makes sense.
I know he does. That's why you can't. That's why I don't understand why the financials are not involved in these decisions. They're just not right now. That's the crazy politics that are getting us into trouble, and why people are starting to do business in currency other than the dollar. It's just dumb reactionary decisions. And now the world's starting to trust other nations, have more faith in them financially to get paid back than they do us. So,
and the way we cure that is that we invest in our neighbors right here. What a golden time to invest in Mexico and Canada.
And if I was president, that's where I would go with my business. A lot of it. I would go north and south.
Yes.
I would figure out ways going north and south, and I would strengthen all this because I have natural defenses around me. They're called the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean. You got to travel a long ways to get to me. You know what I mean? If you really want to fight. So if I strengthen my borders, both north and south, that just creates even more room that you have to get through. And that's reliant and helpful with us when it comes to counterintelligence and a whole lot of other things. That's why I remember, there was times where they were trying to get Mexico on the US dollar. They just couldn't make it happen. Because that would have been more stuff, more things using our currency in the globe.
Because trust me, and I'm just going to talk about Mexico right now. And I'm going to throw a comment out there. People do not, I don't think people have a grasp of what's produced in Mexico and the quality that comes. Open up your car, and I'd say a quarter of the car parts were made in Mexico.
Yes.
You never, I know growing up, we would always have, look behind, made in China, it's a piece of shit. And it was. When's the last time you heard made in Canada is a piece of shit? Made in Mexico is a piece of shit.
Been a minute. That's the thing.
No, Blaze, I need you. They're under your car hood. They're in your refrigerator. They're in your microwave. But let me get back to this. My concern with Mexico is it's a great nation. It has the manpower, the desire to be more successful. And if we don't pick up on this, China will slide right into Mexico.
The cartels run Mexico, bro. You can't conduct any fair business with Mexico or anything to that.
General Motors does. General Motors
That's
does.
me.
Ford does.
Yes. Ford does, yeah.
Oh,
Nah,
oh,
Blaze. Don't
no,
even start. Coca-Cola.
no.
Let's who else you want to call out? What there's all kinds of businesses, big major corporations that do very well with Mexico.
And that the cartel
Toddlers, all
gets
that
money.
kind of good stuff.
And that the
Huh?
cartel gets some money in their pockets. You don't pay the
No.
cartel. You watch
No.
how fast.
Okay, well,
No.
Fact,
you
it
know
gets
what makes
blown
me,
up.
Blaze? This is what makes me laugh about your little statement about, well, the cartel gets money. Well, we got a cartel too. It's just we call them Senate and a House. We got
Yep.
the same damn cartel that get in their cut too.
It's an,
So don't mock
I'm
Mexico
not disagreeing
for
with,
the same processes and procedures that go on in the U.S.
but you
mock
ain't
another
seeing dead
nation.
bodies all over the streets in front of the White House like that from Mexico. You come on, you can't deny that the cartels are not a
Blaze.
problem in Mexico, and that's why a lot of people are afraid to deal with that. To deal
You
with
know,
it.
And the gangs are a problem in the United States. And
Yeah,
people are
but they
afraid to
don't.
deal
But
with
the gangs in the United States
Don't-
don't have any holes on any huge corporations
Oh my
like the
Lord.
cartel does in Mexico.
Blaze,
Okay,
the,
Blaze.
the only difference between Mexico politicians and United States politicians is the Mexicans do a sloppy job of covering their tracks. The Americans
In their
are
tracks.
smart. Yeah.
Agreed. The
Americans is better. Come on, that's what
Yeah.
that's my point. Don't mock their political when ours is no better.
Yes, exactly. But my biggest concern is China moving in there. But my question to you is, Mr. Blaze, you are president, and you make a command decision that you want to label the cartels as a terrorist group. Would you move forward? And do you know what that entails?
Well, it entails enough for me not to make a stupid move like that. Number one.
Why not? Why not?
But they have to, because they're just dangerous. Because
So
they're absolutely dangerous. Listen,
So is our
a
cartel.
senator here in the United States isn't going to send fucking 10 guys out to fucking murder your family like the cartel would. There's the difference.
Hillary Clinton.
Right.
Come on,
But-
man.
What-
Come
what-
on.
Wait. I have a question for this.
That's
What
it.
resources
That's
are
it.
at his disposal?
I'm just going to
as
sit here
president?
and listen. I got no fucking answer to that one. None.
What resources are available to Blaze as president? What resources are available? Does he get spec ops types?
Oh
Stuff?
yes.
Does it just
Oh yeah.
on the civilian side?
No, he gets the full boat. He gets the full boat and cooperation with the Mexican government.
Oh, cooperation with the Mexican government.
Yep.
I move on him. And what I do after is I do what we've always done, and I do that humanitarian efforts with the military
Mm-hmm.
because we have a contract to help you take all those resources the cartel had and turn them over to your, good for government facilities. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I move on that.
Yeah. Bottom line is, man, is that the cartels see the customer, and the customer is us, and demand has always been there. So what does Mexico do? They produce the supply and get it to the customer. So until America figures itself with its drug intake, cartels will go on forever, man.
How much does the average employee make at one of these Ford factories in Mexico?
Oh,
Good.
pennies, man, pennies. But I'm going to tell you, and I know a
no
lady.
insurance, no nothing.
Oh yes, you got medical insurance and all that, but you get like $40 for the whole work week, and this is their it's what I'm looking for. This is their. Come on, Donnie, help me out. Their method of operation. They provide transportation to and from the work site, from your home. What they do, they get these beat up old United States school buses. There's a whole bunch of them here ready to go to Mexico. They paint them all beautiful, bright colors, and there's your transportation. Second, they're provided breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's not a steak. It's basically a burrito with beans and cheese. That's it, man. That's it. $40. And shit, Blaze, they pull out a good quality product. Maybe if we can get more companies down there producing, maybe we could help that labor pool get a little more money. Do I make sense? Or am I talking on my butt, Donnie?
Well, it
I mean-
makes sense, but you're also now putting the American person out of a job.
No,
You
no,
keep
no,
sending,
not.
exporting
Wait,
all
wait,
that music.
wait.
How are you not? You're going to export all that work to Mexico.
You did it with China.
Yeah.
You did it with
Well,
China.
we didn't have
exactly where
we
I'm
didn't
going.
have a choice thanks to Clinton and his NAFTA deal.
Whatever. But you said the question was, what would you do if you were president, Blaze? Would you go and say, hey, I'm moving that manufacturing down to Mexico or up into Canada where it's cheaper for me to get the product? I don't have to cross the Atlantic or the Pacific. I'm taking it up there and I'm
As
making
president or
ourselves stronger.
businessman?
Both.
As a businessman, of course, I'm going to take my business to where it's the cheapest and push out a good product. That's a no-brainer.
Shit, Blaze.
but-
Go ahead, Donnie. I'm sorry.
No, but that's maybe that's the problem with our economy, why it goes up and down so much, because these politicians that have law degrees, most of them, they don't think in financial terms of how to run an economy and keep it stable.
No.
If they would think about financially how to run it, maybe it'd run a little better. Maybe if we remember some of this, we would run it better. And we could
Maybe
be
on
more
maybe
stable,
on
a
the
stronger economy.
maybe on the application to fill out to become a fucking mayor or a councilor or city councilor or whatever, you have to have some kind of background in economics. I don't know. I don't know what the fix is.
I'm a firm believer. You want to be commander in chief? You need to have done 3 years in the service. I don't care if it's active duty or reserves or National Guard.
No, I want active duty.
Hmm.
I want active duty. No, you're right. It don't matter, but I want you to serve in some capacity.
But getting back to our influence in Mexico, we
got to get back to Mexico in about 5 minutes, as the rabbit hole is going to take its second break of the night. And stick with us, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back after a short break. So, boys, go and do your take care of your bodily functions and all that fun shit like that, brothers. Hey,
I'm
hey,
in, yo.
hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Rabbit Hole, Thursday, July 7th, 2021. We were discussing oh shit. We were discussing a bunch of stuff, but I believe we were talking about economics, the economy, and all of that fun stuff like that. But what I'd really like to touch base on, gentlemen, is the education system in this country.
Mm.
Another one. If you were in charge, what would you do?
Okay, so some of my calculations, we rank number one in education.
No, no. I think
I doubt
23
that.
or 27.
Education ranking by country 2022. The United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, Canada, France, Switzerland, Japan, Australia, Sweden, and the Netherlands.
Where'd you get that from?
Just looked it up.
Okay, so they were above us or below us?
Above us.
Yeah.
Yes, I can
Yes.
fully understand that. Oh hell yeah!
Yes.
Oh
The
yeah.
countries with the best education system.
Yep.
2021 best countries report. Again, the United States is number one. Number two is the United Kingdom. Number three is Germany. Number four is Canada. Number five is France. Number six is Switzerland. Number seven is Japan. And Japan should just be on the fucking top. And the rest of these should be all in the hundreds.
Please, I don't know where you're getting that from. I'm looking at another one, and wow, 2021, the United States was one, but that's educational system. That's not talking about the output. You know what I mean?
Yeah, D, I understand that, but the question was given to me, and about education, and all I wanted to do was look up and see where the United States ranked in education, and it says we ranked number one, which the three of us in this lobby know that that's nothing but bullshit.
Yeah, I can't. I
How are we
buy on that
ranked
one.
number
I
one?
just can't. I just want to. I think there's a very vague statement to say they're number one in education. Education in what? Because if you break it down by like mathematical skills or science skills or this other type of skill,
Japan and
I know
China.
for a fact there's other countries that do well better than America as a nation. And then what level of education are you talking about? Talking about collegiate level? You talking about secondary,
Education,
which is
bro.
high school or whatever? Or are you talking
Okay,
about
countries countries with the best education system in 2020. Global Citizens for Human Rights, Denmark, Finland, Japan, Canada, Sweden, Germany, Israel, the Netherlands, Singapore, and South Korea. We didn't even make that list.
Okay, but that we all know our education system as a whole is garbage. Because you got kids that got to pull out a phone and use a calculator because they can't count some change. I mean, that's pretty bad. They should be able to do that if they're working in a cashier position or something like that. If it's not real easy, come on. We're very technology reliant, but the basic skills are slowly fading away.
Yes, yes.
We all know that.
Yeah, Donnie and shit, and I agree. Shit. Look when we text autofill. Autofill is a killer, man.
Right.
Autofill is taking the basic spelling away from my kids, man.
Yes, because I have
what
AI.
about penmanship?
It's great, but
what about penmanship in cursive?
What's that?
Yeah, we don't. What do I need that for?
Yeah.
The mentality is, what do I need that for? Because 95% of what I'm gonna do is on. I use some kind of computing device, a laptop, an iPad, my phone. There's a keyboard, and I push the buttons. So what do I need to know how to write in cursive for?
I don't know, contracts, basic contracts, whatever.
I'm just telling you.
A bill of sale. 2 years ago, my son sold his motorcycle to this young kid, and I filled out the bill of sale, and I'm like, hey, just sign your name here. And he's like, oh, they don't teach us how to do that. So is it okay if I print? So now I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, when I can have this kid print his name, but I know if I'm going to go to the DMV with all of this bullshit, there's going to be a problem because there's not a fucking signature there. So yeah, guys, there's still a reason to have it.
And
Signature, writing cursive.
Donnie, and
Go ahead.
Blazeman brings up a good point, man, and we've discussed this on the side. Um, Education,
Let's go.
the housing market. Shit, we were never taught that in high school. How to buy a house, what to look for on the interest rate. You know, the market. Granted, I understand at the higher level education, economics and all that stuff. They discuss that, but that's not with all college students. You know what I mean? Other college students that veer away from economics won't even touch that. And
No.
a lot of these first time home buyers, to include myself when I was it was shoot from the hip, shoot from
Right.
the hip.
Right.
Uh, Case in point, when you buy a brand new home here in Texas, you won't get taxed the house. You just get taxed the land. So you're thinking of your mortgage with your escrow and stuff, and then bang, the next year comes. Wow, they tax the house too. Everything you're not taught that shit as an American. And
Right.
maybe I slept through that class, or I was stoned or something.
No,
You
Davis, I
know.
don't know. I got taught some basic, banking skills and stuff in high school. That was mandatory. You had
Yes,
to learn how to
yes.
do all that. And Blaze, I give point to your point, about a signature. Yes, we still need to be able to sign, but more and more technology lets it go over DocuSign. And it's so easy to take a
Right,
picture and upload it, and then you sign
right,
digitally over your
right.
device. So I could see the argument still where there's like, don't understand why they got to learn it. Okay. But yes, that is a basic skill they need to learn. I don't think we prep our children going through the phases of high school very well for real life.
No,
As far as
I agree.
we go to class 7 periods a day, okay, you want to say this is how the economy works. You want to show them how jobs are. You can say all this and watch videos, but if they actually went to school year round and they got their breaks in between, that would better face them for life because you don't get but 2 weeks on a job when you're out in the real world. You got to keep working all year round. And the stats are out there that it greatly improves education because they don't lose as much. It's not so much that they have to retain, so you can feed them more, or you can go deeper and simpler into stuff more in depth, and it makes the educational process better as you go up through high school. You can get more in depth in grade school. That's how you can fix that. But people just they're used to that other way, so they're like, no, 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 we're not going to do it. Well,
You
that's
know,
better preparing people for life, I believe.
I
Giving
and
them basic classes,
you
just
know,
like you
and
said.
well, one thing I'm liking lately these days, and I don't know if Blazeman experiences it up there in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, but here in the Great Republic of Texas, your schools are separated by school districts. Now you have this charter school idea coming into the fold where they're strictly educational. I mean, they pound these kids on books. And what I love about it, it's putting these school districts on notice because if this charter school is able to recruit this kid into their program, that city, well, El Paso, will cut that check to idea for education for that child. And I love that, man, because that brings competition in education. Never would I ever think I would see in front of an elementary school here in Texas them promoting their school. You never seen that before, and I really like these charter schools because what they do, they put the public schools in check. Hey, and
They're much better, and we've had charter schools down here for a long time now.
okay. No, that's
We,
and they have that option to go to a charter school versus a regular elementary school, correct?
No, you don't just get to go. You have to fill out an application. You have to qualify.
Oh, okay.
It's a
You
private
have to
school.
qualify to go to this
That well,
school.
that's a and the
It's
parents.
accredited school too, and it goes all the
No,
way up to high school.
yeah, but that's who pays for the school? The parents or the city? They get the voucher.
It depends. When my daughter went, I paid for that.
Okay, so that's a private school.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's
No,
a
I
charter
get what
school.
your point is,
Mm-mm.
Demas. I get your point. It's hey, we need to bring more competition, and there needs to be a better selection. And the
Yes,
only thing, because I live in this neighborhood, my kid goes to this middle school.
Donnie,
I mean, there's got to be more
Donnie.
than that. You want more
You
than that,
universities do it, and I'm all for it.
right?
I'm all for it
Right.
at the second at the the lower level education, man. It just makes these educators more on their toes. You
Okay,
know.
you can try to do that, but how about you bring more vocational programs back to the high school level?
Hey, you're talking to a vocational graduate right here, Donnie.
I'm
I'm
just
all for
saying,
that, man. I'm all for
bring
that.
more of them at the high school level because my thing, I really don't understand the value of about 75% of the degrees that colleges offer. I say about 25%, the law, the medical, the dental, anything to do with the body and science. Yes, those are the STEM stuff. Those are degrees you need to better get a college education. But to be a director of communications somewhere, do you really need a college degree for that? Why don't you make that a vocational program? Communications, make it a vocational program. Kids can come out with an associate's or a certification in the communications and go right into the workforce and be knowledgeable in what they're doing.
But time out, Donnie. Okay,
Whoa.
you talk about the vocational, and I all that is a plug for these schools here. Get college credit. Don't fuck it. Learn high school. Learn your basics. Don't try to introduce some bullshit. And what it is just a higher level of mathematics. It's their selling point, and I'm like, you want that associate's degree? Go do your time in college. And I understand. Granted, there's some kids that shit 8 years old they're in Harvard already. You know what I mean? Just being facetious. But don't give a kid an associate's degree coming out of high school. You take you're thinning out the degree. You are, man.
Obama's,
You're making it simpler.
they're,
So,
they're so thin now, Demas. They ain't
but
worth nothing.
no,
And there's
and
no reason for people to go 6 digits in debt to go get a piece of paper that
I
half the industry now could give two shits about. They'd rather see you certified. Case in point, what were we talking about when we was at BAE? What
PMP,
certification? PMP.
PMP. Yep,
PMP.
pimp,
Exactly.
pimp.
Exactly. So, did you think anybody in that industry that was looking to hire those people, did they ever say anything about a bachelor's degree? Unless they were looking for what? An executive type person, right?
Or engineers.
Engineers. But
Yes.
what was the pay scale average for somebody with a PMP certification, Demas?
Oh, it was
It
a
was
lot
six
higher.
digits.
Yes,
Yeah, it was
yes,
6 digits.
yes, sir.
That's
Yes,
the kind
sir.
of stuff I'm talking about. You don't need a degree for that. Hell, the industry doesn't even recognize a degree for it. They want it from that PMP, from that one institute, professional PMI,
Yes, sir.
right? They want it from that institute because they know they can verify it with that institute because they trust how they go and they administer the test. It's no different than the other addition idea schools that are challenging the other schools of. There's another method to get at the level we need to get at, and it's right here in front of you.
And you
And
see,
we can change it.
this show is really rehabbing you with your memory, man. And I'm glad I'm a part of it with you, Donnie.
Bro, there's no reason to have that type of the loan debt. Look what it's doing to our economy now as far as purchasing power, what people can actually do because they've gotten so many just crap bullshit loans.
But
And now
but
look at the debt they're in and how they can't contribute to an economy because of what? I mean, come on now.
so let me ask you this,
We
Donnie.
don't need it, bro.
Let me ask you this: should Biden take a little chunk out of these student loans for these individuals?
Let's take a chunk out of what? You
Uh,
talking about student loan forgiveness?
yeah.
No,
Okay.
no, because
Okay.
that's another piece that when it comes to education, you have to be accountable for what you do and what you say and the things you teach,
But
right? So
but
be accountable for you made that decision to get that loan and go to that school.
how old was
You're a
he?
grown
How
person,
old was she?
huh?
How old were they?
I don't
18?
know. Yeah,
18.
probably 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
You think they're ready to make that $40,000 to $60,000 commitment at that age? No.
No, that's
No.
where parents and counselors at schools should tell them this. That's another way you can get a class into high school that teaches them more about this is what it's going to be like when you start applying for college. How about you make that a mandatory class and throw in some other economics in there? That's a way to
Yeah.
fix that. So then they have a better financial decision. They're better educated to make that decision.
But Donnie,
For
no
me,
Come on, bro.
for
no
Let's
me,
prepare them
no
for real life.
no
You're talking about
no
changing
but
it.
no high school is going to sit down and say, "Hey guys, take a look at student loans." They're going to broke you dry. No, they're not, because they're screwing the next institution the kids are going to. So they're not going to stab, their own sector in their own foot, man.
But
I
okay,
eh,
then
for
what are you
me,
gonna
they're
do? I
not.
don't
They're
understand where
not,
he's going
Tony.
at.
for
What I'm
me,
saying. Go ahead, Blaze.
for me, is just another idea to separate the rich from the poor. Because
Eh,
even back in the day, when you had to pay for college, if you was poor, but you was a bright kid and smart kid in school that could do well in college, you couldn't get to go because your parents couldn't afford it.
My whole well, I went to a vocational high school, so college wasn't preached that much. But my
It
whole
is now. It
yes,
is now. Just
yes,
for the record, it is highly preached now.
yes, and my shit. What's the oh fuck? Where were we at, man?
We're talking about how
Student
we change
loans.
education and getting it better. And you keep talking about, oh, need to go to college, get a degree. And I'm like, no, you don't. I'm going to give you another web design stuff you do, graphic design stuff on a computer. Do
So
you know an
Donnie,
engineer can take 75% of their classes online and an
Yes.
engineering degree?
Yes.
That's
I'm
what
not.
they do. So why, once again, Demas, why do I need to go and get some crazy degree in that? Why don't I make a certification program for stuff like that and you cut out the BS? Because guess what, Demas? You know me as well. That piece of paper that said I graduated, it ain't nothing but a piece of paper. You know that, Demas. We've
Yeah,
seen that.
yeah.
Because why? The
No.
BS school I went
Bachelor's
to,
degree means shit now. It's a
right,
fucking 2 years of college. It means nothing.
Uh,
right, but we're
but
talking about an MBA. It means nothing because
Right.
the school I went to is not the accreditation is not as high as this big, University of Florida. But
hey,
most guys
Mike.
don't give a damn about it.
Hey,
They could care
Mike
less.
Rowe. Mike Rowe. I'm all about that, man. You know who Mike Rowe is, right? Dirty
Yeah,
Jobs guy, and he
yeah,
pitches the vocational thing, and no,
right.
all tributes to him. But that organization we were part of for like 45 plus years, an officer had a bachelor's degree, and there was comment. All they had to do was have a degree in basket weaving.
But that's true about if you went to an ROTC program. And
Okay,
I'll
so
tell you right now, there's guys that went to West Point, was deployed with. They're lieutenants. They left captain. They told it. They said, "Shit, there was times it was party central. We had a great time.
of
They'll
course.
admit to it. But
So why is there
what
that
is it worth?
commitment? Why is that commitment for that piece of paper for a guy to be an officer where you know damn well as good as I do, and
Mhm.
then a high school guy could do just as a good enough job as a lieutenant, a second lieutenant coming in the army.
Mm-mm.
It's not
After
rocket
seeing the
Because
scientist.
that's about
no,
because that's
It's
about
not
smart.
rocket scientist. What's
And
that?
that just
oh
goes
no,
back to what I just said. The poor kid could be just as smart as this guy, but because the
no,
Thank you.
parents couldn't afford to get him in this school, that's it.
no,
They don't get that
no,
chance.
not for West Point. I'll tell you right now. I saw in the briefing when I went with my daughter, and the curriculum they follow, it's a lot of high-end chem, STEM, global affairs. The curriculum you're going to get at a military academy is nothing compared to a college degree. It is more in depth. You're more
or an ROTC program.
Yes, you're going to get such a bet. Well, ROTC, I don't know. That the military academy
West
when
Point.
we went
We're
through the
talking
briefing
about
and you
West
showed
Point.
that curriculum. Brother,
Yeah.
We're getting high-end Ivy League education.
No, and for what though? Their job
When
don't
you
demand
get
it. Their
the
job don't demand it. Donnie,
bro,
you know. Oh,
no,
come on,
okay,
Donnie.
our job didn't demand we do some things, but we got smart when it came to the supply side of things.
Yeah,
We
but
didn't do
no,
it, but it made us better.
no. Yeah,
The
but don't go
overall
there.
knowledge, Demas, the overall knowledge that they
Of
will
what?
go through after seeing that curriculum from a West Point presentation, I'm telling you, it's an Ivy League education. And if you're going to put that into a first lieutenant, I'll be more than happy for them to make major decisions over 100 people all day. Because you got to remember, there's the business side of the Army too. And they get taught that. So, yeah, no.
Yeah. The ones that can't make it in the line units, they give them to acquisition. Yeah,
but
I could see. But no, seriously, Donnie, on the battlefield, man, there is nothing different that a Spec 4 is taught about Army battle doctrine than a second lieutenant. That Spec 4 is going to teach that Army how to call for fire proficiently. Oh, so he's got a degree at stops? Donnie, come on, man. The Army,
Yeah,
you
it
don't
does.
need you.
Yeah, it
You don't.
does.
What, Blaze?
It stops. If you don't have the degree, it stops. Yes.
Yeah, of course it does.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But Blaze, the point I'm trying to make, Donnie's stamping out, oh, we need certification programs, the hell with the degrees. But when we come to the Army, we say, whoa, you need a degree. I don't see that.
They don't have a degree.
I don't see that need.
Okay, guys, we're going to hold up right now.
Okay.
Hey, guys, we're going to
Good
hold
call.
up right now. We're going to take the last break of the night. Everybody, please stay tuned for more of the Rabbit Hole, and we'll get our final thoughts out there on education because, quite frankly, it is very important. So stick with us, and we'll be right back. And hey, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for sticking around for the last half hour of the Rabbit Hole with yours truly, Mr. Blazeman, Mr. D, and Mr. Donnie. So we were going pretty much back and forth on education here in this country, and pretty much, Donnie, correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying that college is worthless. And D and I are trying to say that in certain aspects of certain companies, West Point or whatever the situation may be, is that if you don't have the education, then you're just going to stay at a steady level, and the person that does have the education is going to continue to move up the ladder.
Right. I'm not disagreeing with that. That's the way it works. But there's different levels of education. There's different forms of education. So I'll go back to what Demon said about the West Point and what makes him a lieutenant, what doesn't make him a lieutenant. The degree really doesn't separate the officer from the enlisted. It's the experiences and the knowledge, because I'll take this thing right here, West Point, where they talk about their different degree programs. So they got a degree program in political science with a focus on international relations. So you take Lieutenant Donald or whatever, Plebe Donald, he's going to West Point. That's his degree plan. So I think, if I remember right, I think the junior and senior year, or maybe after the sophomore year, there's what they call internship opportunities for these cadets. Guess what? He goes and does a 2-month, 3-month thing in the summer in an embassy in Europe. The next summer, he goes down to Mexico, or he goes down to South America for 2 years. That knowledge base and what they get taught, that's what makes them a lieutenant compared to the enlisted demons. So don't so much on the degree on paper. Let's not go there in the Army.
No, but hear me out. So the Army is gonna fight robotics and stuff.
Right.
And well, no, I'm not done. And the point I'm trying to make is that currently, I think because the Army's numbers are hurting so much, they're accepting GEDs now. That's a fact. But the Army is going to get so advanced with technology and robotics because that's the next war we're going to fight.
Right.
A kid's going to have a bachelor's degree from Baylor University in political science, in international affairs, did all that little bullshit under the cover as a civilian because civilians do that too. That's where you get your CIA agents from.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so you got this kid coming in the Army, and then you got this second lieutenant. Well, hold up. This kid, the E4, has got a degree from Baylor, political science, the same stuff that West Point has to offer, but West Point puts a little military twist on it. Got it. So this kid's been in the Army for 2 years. Here comes this second lieutenant, welcomes him into a squad, and the degree level is the same, but the rank level isn't the same. And the point I want to get to is the kid at West Point had the opportunity, and the other kid in Baylor did not have the opportunity. You
But
know,
the other
hey,
kid at
hey
Baylor
Donnie,
could have had
there
that
was a
opportunity.
time. No, but hear me out, and I know you're a big West Point.
But they teach the
Oh,
prestigious
Blaze,
in
Blaze.
West Point and
No,
stuff.
but
too.
Blaze. The point, another point I wanted to make when we first came in the Army, if you weren't West Point, you weren't going to make full bird or general. Today, anybody can make colonel or general.
Right.
No, I'm serious.
But
So,
Dimas,
so that, no, Donnie, because and when that lieutenant comes into the unit, who's going to know about more about the Army right there and then?
that E4 might know a little bit more about
No,
the Army.
he's
He's
going.
gonna know. No, Demas, listen. That E4 is gonna know more about what goes on in that location than the lieutenant.
But
Overall scheme of what happens in Army and doctrine that said lieutenant was taught either at ROTC program, West Point, or like your example in E4, he has that same degree as lieutenant. There's an option for that little E4. It's called OCS. And then he
no,
gets paid for the same knowledge that the
but
lieutenant does to separate themselves.
no, but
But that's
there's
what I'm
gonna
telling you. The options are there, Demas.
no, but there's gonna be a point in the time in the Army where fucking you're gonna need a bachelor's degree to come in. You are. You
Okay.
you are.
Well, I mean, that's just growth, the way it
Dude,
goes. I mean, that's
dude,
going to be no different than where we're at in the economy side. A bachelor's degree is nothing.
now
Anybody and everybody can get one.
yeah,
So
yes.
whatever.
Yes, and then and if you want to get more into the education, all these universities that do online, all that is a watered down degree.
I know. That's exactly what
Oh,
I said
okay.
earlier about mine.
No, I didn't talk about yours.
No, that's
Uh,
what I'm saying myself about the degree I have. It was online because it fit what I was doing while I was in the military, but it's
but hold,
garbage now.
But
but
all of
hold,
this pertains to
hold
the
up.
real world. All of
Yeah,
this
yeah.
pertains
Of
to the
course it
world,
does.
to the
Of
world,
course
to
it
the.
does.
How many
Of
other
course it
people
does.
are doing that for a business degree that you really do you need a bachelor's degree if you have been with that company 2-3 years?
You know, a very
They
well
pretty much know what's going on. You know their culture, you know their atmosphere. They can
but
get some internal training. Walmart does it. Walmart's doing it. You can do internal training. I'd rather take the person that's been there 2-3 years than the one that's got a bachelor's degree in it. Those are the
oh,
degrees I'm saying. I could care less if
why
you get
why
one.
why
Let's
why
turn
why
that
can't
into a
you
But it don't
certification
work
why
that
in
way.
that
It
why
don't
industry.
work that way.
why can't
It
you
don't work that
transfer
way.
that same mentality of what you had in Walmart in the Army? It's the same.
I know it
It
is,
is
What
but
the
what is,
same.
what is that embassy internship going to do for an infantry brother in South America when he's killing folks in Iraq?
that's the networking you get to do. Resources.
Oh, dude.
Damn,
Oh
Demas, come
man. No,
on.
no. I'm not with it,
Come
man.
on.
I'm
You
not
didn't
with
you
it.
didn't pay attention
No,
sometimes.
I
And
no, I
you didn't
paid
see
a lot of
that.
it. No, I paid a lot of attention, man. And I seen it with my own eyes, man.
I seen it
And,
too, but
and I seen the humble lieutenants, and then I see the narcissists where they make captain and they get out of the army.
right,
You
but
know, and
I'm
then I see
talking
these.
about
Go ahead.
I'm talking about the relationships that were built that you said, oh, said Lou, private doesn't have that, does the same education level. That's another reason why I tell you that the lieutenant separates himself because the connections they make at West Point. And you've seen them in action, Demas. Getting resources, getting things, the way they take care of each other, even when they move on and they move out of the Army.
Yes,
That
yes.
brotherhood and
I
that
seen
connection, you can't break, brother. So that's what
it,
separates them. You got to come on, Demas. You've
nope.
seen that in action. The resources they get, and
Yeah.
this guy's talking about, oh,
But
you
like
were
I
at
was
my
saying, it's the
internship.
same thing in the real world.
Yeah,
Yes.
they do an
You know,
internship in the
I
Army.
had a family member that worked for the family courts for 20 years. Tell me there's not much that she could be taught after that, but for 20 years she worked for the family courts.
Okay.
And they hired a new girl because this new girl had college. She got the promotion, and my family member didn't.
Of course.
Right, but that's an employer choice, and that's going to happen. But once again, I'm taking the one that's been there. And if you've got some kind of certification in the industry and the workforce we're working on, I'd rather take that. Because to me,
Right.
college
So,
and bachelor's degrees are nothing.
Whatever happened to whatever happened to prove yourself to the company? I don't care if you come in with the degree,
But
you know
that's
what I
coming
mean,
back.
in business or whatever.
But that's coming back, Blaze. There's companies out there that they're offering incentives, but there's like service agreements that come with some of that. For
But the whole
some of the
point we're
extra
trying to
perks that
make
people
here
want.
is how important is the education? Is college still valuable? Is college worth the $75,000 a year tuition?
That's where my point is.
You could still right. That's what I'm trying to help you get back to that because
because half of the degree plans that are out there, Blaze, are not worth that 75 grand a year. That's what I'm saying. It's not worth it.
I agree with you.
There's no reason for these guys to be in debt this much where they can't even barely afford to eat because they're paying back student loans from bad lenders. And then we're going to let Biden come in and do loan forgiveness. Why? So all the taxpayers can help pay back that debt? Because who's going to borrow that debt that Biden uses to stomp on, college debt? Where's he going to get that money from?
Well, do something with it to help the education system. And let's just say, I don't know, come out with a policy like in 2026 that either colleges lower their tuitions or there's just no tuitions to go to college.
No. I mean, no. That's where you get these other institutes like the PMI Institute, the Strategic Management Institute. As they get better accredited for the certifications they have and more companies start looking and seeing those certifications, demand will bring down that college loan.
Oh, right. Okay. I
People
got you.
Stop going.
Yeah. You're right. Get the same basis, get the same kind of education for less money.
It's like it's like an RN. They want them to know up to like pre-calculus or some crap on their 4-year degree, right? You know what they're mainly doing is body mass, that conversion when they're giving medications and that. That's the biggest math they really need to know. If they know how to do that,
and you can get that education going to a pharmacy school.
Exactly. So what do I need to go spend $70,000? And that can trickle back into what I said earlier about you want to change some of the high school level. Teach them a class on that. This is the process. This is how it goes. When they're seniors, make that a requirement for graduation.
But Donnie, my only rebuttal on education at the high school level, I just don't like the way they water it down with showing these kids a big ass carrot, and so what grade you in? Well, I think I'm in 14, second year college, and he's in high school. This whole society wants everything watered down. They want it now. Let's work it. Educate, and please, I want the listeners to know I'm a big education advocate, real big. And I fought with my sister, and she's a big time liberal, and she would always fight the education, and I see it, and I see it in the streets of Chicago.
Yeah, but
I see it.
you gotta go back to some higher standards than we have now, Demons.
Exactly,
You
and
gotta
that's
get
the
rid of
point,
standardized
Donnie.
testing.
You're saying the same thing, but you're using it in different words.
Get
That's
rid
all.
of that.
Well, get rid of
I
what?
mean, standardized testing.
That's a
That
Texas thing.
that I know, but get rid of it. It does absolutely nothing. Because I could
Uh,
take from it right now. I tell
We
you
have the
facts, found out, lived
SATs
through.
here.
no, it's a standardized testing, Blaze. At I
What
think what grade they start.
before you go to high school?
Oh fuck, they
Yes.
do it at every grade. I think it starts at second or third.
Yeah, it's like
And,
second or third, and that's what they teach to.
I think they only do that once there when you first start school. They give you a
No.
test and that's it.
No, down
Yeah.
here in Texas, it's every other year. But the thing is, though, they preach it, they teach to it, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't make an impact whether you get moving on to the next grade or not. It doesn't. You could pass every class with a 75. You could bomb that STAR test. You're still going on to the next grade. So what
Eh,
does that STAR test really do?
I think all
It's
it
those
is
type of policies.
it's a tool for higher educators to look at the lower educators to see if they're doing their job. That's all.
So
Donnie, all it is come on, help me, man. Oh fuck. It's a
it's
matrix. It's a matrix. That's all it is, man. For the teacher.
okay.
That's
Okay,
it. That's
it's a
it.
grading system for teachers. Okay, but then don't stress it and have these kids running around because you can hear them. I didn't do well on my STAR test. Now I got to go to
Mhm.
summer school. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Or you're telling them, and as parents, the way we understand it is, hey, if they don't pass that STAR test, they're getting held back, So they stress
Yep.
and they press it, and they put so much pressure on this test. Come to find out, I found out this year it doesn't matter. It's all for data and demographics and
Yes.
political and whatever, like Demons just said. So why do you put that stress on a kid in middle school and elementary school when it doesn't matter? That's just ridiculous to me.
They
Those
they
type policies in schools, they got to go, man. Come on.
they yeah, Blaze. That's what Donnie said. Touche, 100%. Yeah, I've had grandkids and my own kids, and that STAR test, that would be a talk around the dinner table. And trust me,
Right.
and these kids are stressing on it. They're
Yeah,
pounded in the schools. Hey, you got to do good on this, or you are not going to graduate. That's the
right,
words. You've heard it, Donnie.
right. But there's no truth to it.
Yeah,
I
but
found
I
that out
don't
this
think
year
there's
personally,
anything
firsthand.
wrong in presenting that to the child.
You're presenting them with a lie.
Are you?
Yes, if you're going there, say like the STAR test now, you're saying you're not going to go on to the next grade level if you don't pass this. No, I found out from educators this year that no, yeah, as long as you pass the rest of your classes, you might go to the summer school and then you're moving on to the next grade.
Right. Okay.
So it doesn't
All right.
matter. So that's why put the pressure on them. You got to do
So
that. You got to start changing the educational level at the kindergarten, preschool, grade school level. If you want to really fix it, you got to start fixing it there and letting it work its way up. Because I think if you try to go back down and fix it at high level and go down, you're already too high into the matrix where you have bad habits. So you got to fix those habits when it's younger.
right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, great. I think we should come back with education next week as well, because there's plenty of things that could be talked about as far as education goes. And with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in to the Rabbit Hole tonight. With yours truly, Mr. Blazeman, Mr. D, and Mr. Donnie. We hope that you all had a fantastic 4th of July, minus the horrific things that have been going on in this country lately, and mass shootings and all of those things like that. So don't forget to check out the Blazeman Morning Show tomorrow from 9 a.m. until whenever. The Blazeman and Miss Tammy Show on Tuesday night from 6 to 8 p.m. And, of course, every Thursday night from 7 to 9, The Rabbit Hole. And with that being said, I'd like to give the boys the last thought of the night, and we'll go with Mr. Donnie.
Oh, thanks everybody listening, viewing. Just like always, stay positive, think positive, be opportunistic, and keep just keep pushing forward, man. It'll get better.
Mr. D.
I want to personally thank you, Blaze, and Donnie. Another good show. We've talked in the past about being more controversial. I think we're hitting that mark. I have my
Agreed.
feelings. I have my feelings towards education, and Donnie has his. It's to be continued. I know it will
Absolutely.
be.
Absolutely. To be continued. Go ahead.
No, that's it, man. Thanks.
And for me, again, thank Mr. D for being here and Mr. Donnie for being here. You both do the show a great honor and bring them to, your knowledge and just the things that you bring to the show. And we're looking forward to do bigger things ahead. I'd like to maybe touch a little bit of base of the Hadron Collider, the CERNs, next week, and maybe play around with what the show is called, the Rabbit Hole, because they fired that sucker off July 5th.
What are you talking about?
The CERNs, the Hadron Collider, the CERNs. CERNs, you know what the CERNs is?
Mm-mm.
No.
Educate me.
It's this great machine that they built to smash atoms and all of those things like that.
Yeah, and does life come out of the?
I don't know. Hey, listen, again, this is science, man. It's not a conspiracy theory or fiction. This is real life.
Yes, sir.
I mean, if this shit was to be done wrong, they could actually fucking end this life as we know it. But that's for another show and another time. And again, I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in to the Rabbit Hole tonight. And everybody have a fantastic weekend. Be safe and be kind to people, ladies and gentlemen. Good night now.